Hey everyone, you're welcome to yet another series of our lectures at M Solutions Consulting International Limited. My name is Mohammed Hamed Hadimola, and I will be taking you on this course titled Assessment in Couples and Family Counseling. This, this course is a requisite for you to get an award in advanced course, an award in an advanced course on couples and family counseling, a certificate. Module objectives. At the end of this module, participants shall be able to define the term assessment in counseling, understand the knowledge and skills required in the counseling assessment process, conduct an assessment and develop a treatment plan for relationship issues, conduct an effective couple counseling assessment to help clients identify their issues, identify external stressors that contribute to couples counseling, to couples issues, provide support and help for common issues, implement couples relationship enrichment program, increase counseling competence, including empathy and listening skills between parties in a couple relationship or family setting. Now we move into the lessons. Lesson 1, Introduction and Background to Assessments in Couples and Family Counseling. People seek a counselor to help resolve concerns or problems that are interfering with their daily life or causing them despair or pain. The counselor comes into the counseling situation with the expectation to do something to ease or improve the client situation. This condition is necessitated by the fact that it's either the client does not have the capacity to solve his or her problem, or the client currently exhibits excesses in his or her behavioral patterns that contributes to the problem, or however, or the client probably does not have enough evidence of the capacities to actually solve his or her problem. Having said this, assessment is critical to the counseling process. In the second stage of the counseling process, the counselor attempts to assess the client, meaning that after a therapeutic alliance has been formed between the counselor and the client in a therapeutic situation, the next step is to assess your client. Assessment refers to anything a counselor does to gather information and also to draw conclusion about concerns of the client. Having understood this, assessment can be formative, which would mean taking place at the beginning of the session for proper conceptualization of the case problem. It could either also be continuous, meaning it's ongoing at different stages or throughout the therapy, with the purpose of finding the missing piece in the puzzle. So in essence, when we talk about assessment, it is always often carried out after a therapeutic alliance has been formed between the counselor and the client, meaning that a trust and healthy client therapy relationship has been formed. After that has been established, the next thing is to assess the client using different techniques and strategies. So also, however, while the session or the therapy is ongoing, there might be need for the therapist rather, to assess the client, depending on the challenges or the situations that might arise, either at the exploration phase, at the insight phase, or at the action phase of the therapy process. According to Seligman, 1996, assessment should attempt to recognize the importance and the uniqueness of the client. In a way, saying to the person, "You are special and I want to get to know you and understand why you are the way you are." So assessment actually allows us have an individualized, subjective or objective feedback about the client in front of us. Leaving out assessment or leaving out any information gathered through the assessment process about a client may affect the counseling process or the eventual outcome of the therapeutic process. According to Klein, 2000, assessment is used to help understand and predict behavior. Usually, assessment involve multiple methods, such as history interviews of persons and family, behavioral observations, formal tests for gathering information about the family. Couples and family counseling without assessment is like a car trip without a roadmap, because you would not have a structure, you won't be able to conceptualize the case, and you won't be able to help the client set appropriate goals for the counseling process if assessment is not properly done. Clients come to couples and family counselors for several reasons, some of which may be that they seek premarital counseling to prepare them on a journey towards their upcoming marriage. Some come to marital counselors because they want to find ways to deal more effectively with their children. Some also still seek couples counseling to understand why the way they feel distance from each other after they've spent several years together in marriage. Professional counselors can use assessment techniques effectively to gather information, develop hypotheses, evaluate treatment progress and outcomes, and facilitate change. Therefore, accurate assessment of family relationships and functioning is a significant matter in treatment interventions for couples, families, and children. This further implies that family relationships, patterns, structure, and level of function are the primary focus of assessment. The counselor evaluates the dynamic systems, so this process can be more challenging than the individual assessment. Yes, that is to say that having a one-on-one assessment in a therapy situation is easier than having couples counseling or family assessment, because when you're dealing with the couples who are in a relationship, or when you're dealing with the family, you're not just dealing with them as an individual entity. You're looking at interrelationships between them and their external environment. Assessment in couples and family counseling can be used to grow initial hypotheses about the nature of the problem, the causes of the problems, family members' perceptions of the problems, and the potential areas of strength. So it could also be used to apply, it could be applied to evaluate the family progress. It could also be used to evaluate outcomes at the end of counseling. And also, it can help joint families provide feedback and support, validate concerns, and engender hope. In essence, without assessment, we cannot measure the growth or the development between couples and in family counseling. So beyond providing information, it is used in measuring progress. It is also used in evaluating outcomes and in facilitating the expected change between couples and within families. McFarter, 1991, suggested that assessment is both a product and a process. It is a guide and a rationale for work, and an intervention in itself and of itself. He further listed the goals of assessment. He said that assessment is used to clarify the nature of a family problem. It is used to understand how the family members perceive the problem. And also, it is used to create an obvious picture of structure, functioning, and impacts on family dynamics. Several stressors can contribute to the functioning of couples and families, some of which are problematic communication patterns, lack of effective parenting skills, unresolved family conflicts, and isolation from potential sources of community support, which represents which areas where strengthening should take place. Some other stressors within the community domain include community violence, lack of educational opportunities, and high level of unemployment, amongst others. In addition, Seligman suggested some other reasons for why it is imperative to assess a client. The first is to enable the counselor to make accurate diagnosis about the client's situation. The second is that to help the counselor determine the person's suitability for a particular treatment plan. The third is that it helps the counselor develop the appropriate regimen, the treatment plan itself. The fourth is it helps in goal setting and achievement of set goals. The fifth is that it helps in enabling assessment of environment and context of the situation. And the fifth is it facilitates the generation of options and alternatives that could help the client solve his or her challenges or problems, as the case may be. We have come to the end of session 1. Thank you for listening.